Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Dead River Building. I haven't used that phrase in a long time, so I figured, what the heck. What I have this time is an emulator for the Korg M01 synthesizer on the Game Boy. The original Korg M1 combined a synthesizer with sampled instrument loops with a sequencer. And by having the sequencer, you could create your own music in the machine and then turn around and play it back as you liked. And that was very, very powerful at the time. In 1998, when this thing first came out, the sound bank was kind of limited. There was an additional sound bank that came out in '91, and in the emulator we have a third sound bank as extras. The machine has both a keyboard entry function and a Kaoss pad. So you can record sounds that you play interactively, or you can use the sequencer manually and enter the notes by hand using the stylus. The software refers to individual tracks as scenes, and then you build up scenes for up to 8 instruments. And there is a lot of power here for the money. The software in Japan came out in 2010 at about $60, $70. And looking on the net, the best I can find in America is used copies somewhere around $100, $160. So if you can find this cheap used, it's a good deal. This is the sequencer screen, and from here we have top panel buttons which give us shortcuts to the different functions in the program. We can choose individual voices, and from here we can pick different banks, either the M1 bank or the 01W bank or the extras bank. And after choosing which instrument we want to apply to that particular track, we can then edit individual scenes. Then this is one scene for music instruments. We have the keyboard key on the side. Right now I have special effects turned on, reverb, and that has a major effect on what we hear. And from here we can go to the mixer. And either mute individual instruments or deactivate effects on those instruments. If we want to, we could just as easily go into the effects screen and edit whether or not we're going to be using reverb or delay, and just exactly how much reverb or delay we're going to get. Going back to main, if we go into the drum track, then we can specify up to 8 instruments based on a particular kit type, and then set down the kind of rhythm pattern that we want. Then if we turn on loop and play, then go into mixer and make the drum track solo. Right, if we go back to main, get to the sequencer screen, and then go into the drum track, and then play, we can loop on that track and If the effects are getting to be too intrusive, we can always turn them off. Then from main, we can go into keyboard. And either play the keyboard with the drum track, or we can go to one of the other instruments and play the keyboard with that instrument. Additionally, we have the Kaoss pad. And from the Kaoss pad, the gating function isn't activated here. That's one of the things that I really liked about some of the other Kaoss products. With the gating function, you can change the length of the note based on the y-axis and the pitch for the x-axis. Here, there really isn't much of a difference between them. For the most part, I'd have to say that the real advantage to having the M01 simulator is as a learning tool. If you're trying to figure out how to do music composition from scratch, you're self-taught, and you want to have something to work with, then this software is great. You can take it anywhere. You can take a Game Boy. You could obviously start switching over to smartphone apps. What I don't like about smartphone apps is that basically you're not getting the keyboard effect that you would with something that actually has a real keyboard. With a Game Boy, you're getting a little bit closer to that. The thing that is a disadvantage with the Game Boy, ignoring the fact that you can't tie this into MIDI equipment anywhere and get the data off this thing, is that it's expensive. If you want to buy this used and you're going to drop $160, you might as well get some decent software for your computer and do the composition on your machine. And if you have something that's running on an iPad, then go use that by all means. It's probably a better deal. But if you can find this thing, if you can get a used copy of the M01 simulator cheap, and you've got the Game Boy, then yeah, I highly recommend this as a learning tool. So from a point of view of a student trying to figure out how to do music composition and electronic sound, this is a good addition to your inventory. If you want something a little bit more price competitive, then yeah, go with computer software. Or get the Korg Micro Arranger, $300, $400. That's the best way to learn how to use a keyboard if you're going to. But the biggest advantage to this thing is as a drum machine. Just plug it into your mixer and you've got a really nice, easy rhythm box to play with.